My name is Alix. I am originally from Columbus, Ohio. I moved to Indianapolis probably around 8 years ago. A mutual friend of mine that I worked with in Columbus went to college with my fiance Chris, and he introduced us. And about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half later, I moved here to be with him. We came back from vacation one year. His family always takes us to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And we wandered in one day to Uncle Bill's pet store and met Nora. She is a Boston Terrier. She was a puppy. And we spent a night thinking about it, and then the next day we went back and got her. She's blind. She was born with cataracts. So they've progressively gotten worse, and she is completely blind now and was completely blind at the time of the accident. So Chris and I went to dinner, and I remember specifically we spent the night talking about how much we love Nora. And so when we got home from dinner, she was asleep on the couch, which is, we call it the witching hour. She's just not very, she gets startled, it's dark, she's not super friendly at that time, and I know this. But we'd spent the whole evening talking about how much we love her, and Chris was in the bathroom, and I sat down on the couch, and I went to pet her, and she was fine. And it's something I never do. I don't kiss her. I know she's not, and for some reason that night I did. And, I remember screaming for Chris and looking in the mirror, and it was just, Chris is like, it's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. We went to the local emergency room. I remember at one point somebody came in and they had finally gotten a surgeon on the phone. They referred us to a hand surgeon, and I remember kind of thinking like, this is my face, But obviously I didn't know where to begin. I had no idea. And cosmetic surgery probably should have popped in my mind, but it didn't really. So we went home, and it was a horrible night. I don't think we slept. We just kind of laid there and cried. And my future mother-in-law swooped in. I felt like I was just waiting for her to get there. And her tenacity that day, I think she called every surgeon in the city here in Indianapolis and in Columbus, Ohio, just searching for somebody to help us. It was really discouraging. We saw a surgeon who wanted to take my bottom lip and flip it up to the top, and my mouth was going to be sewn shut for weeks. And I just remember thinking, like, obviously whatever you need to do, but that felt very scary. And then talked to a lot of surgeons who said, just leave it. You'd be surprised how wonderful lips heal, and it's all going to be okay. Luckily, my future mother-in-law was on it. I don't know what I would have done without her. And she found Dr. Chernoff. I honestly don't know how she did.
Again, when we met them, you could tell the two of them had such tremendous stress. And so it was really, there was no decision to be made when I presented her case to our board. It was really unanimous that we should proceed at full speed for her.
I remember coming here, and it was late in the day. The office was closed, and I just remember feeling like, I thought it was incredible. There were all these people here that stayed, and it was just amazing to me that people would be willing to do that. And I remember Dr. Chernoff met us in the waiting room, which also for some reason stuck with me. We couldn't get doctors on the phone or doctors to speak to us, and then he was, But yeah, so all of those things stuck with me, and everybody was so nice and reassuring, and I really honestly had no idea what to expect or where to begin.
So the extent of her injuries was such that there was first a very complex surgery required, where I had to rotate several flaps of tissue from inside her mouth as well as from the outside to just obtain tissue closure, let alone an aesthetically pleasing look.
I appreciated him too saying, he was like, I don't want to deform part of your face that isn't, he was like, I want to fix the part that is deformed and not mess with the part that isn't, which I appreciated. It's very scary to think about my mouth being sewn shut. I knew financially that it was something I probably couldn't afford. And I didn't have health insurance, and so that was really scary too.
The foundation has covered in excess of $30,000 to $40,000 of care for her, but we're not finished yet. Now we're into the finesse part, because her scar still requires blending a little bit from a topography standpoint. Many patients with injuries like this go on to form something called hypertrophic scarring, where the scars thicken and the body's confused. Tissue is sitting in a different place than it used to be. And so blood vessels start to grow, sometimes overgrow, so she's still left with some discoloration in some areas. So we're blending the color of the wound, we're still blending the topography, but with all of the technology that we have available to us within the foundation, one day we'll have her such that you'll barely be able to see her scar from conversational distance.
I truly feel like I can't even put it into words how grateful I am. So unbelievably grateful. I think a lot about if I would have taken advice from the many other surgeons we talked to that day, if I would have just let it go. Or, I can't imagine where I would be right now. So I never know what to say either when people that, oh my God, your lips look so good, and I'm like, thanks, but I didn't do anything. It's all Dr. Chernoff.